Hey team, it's Grace from Graceful Bricks. Today we're going to do a review video, and it's actually a Lego set. It's not a crazy other weird product, but it's a retired Lego set. So here we have Hulk versus the Red Hulk, and She-Hulk versus She-Red Hulk. This is a set that I have wanted since it came out. At the time when this originally came out, I was really broke. I was living in poverty, barely able to cover my rent each month and my utilities, so there really wasn't any extra money for Lego. Certainly not at this price point. I think it was originally like 80, maybe 60 bucks. Yeah, so now I picked this up for 100, maybe 120. So it has increased in price, as most retired Lego sets do. But I thought that I had not seen this for sale in a long time. So when somebody in one of my Facebook Lego groups had it for sale, I snapped it up. I love the different minifigs. Red Hulk is one of my faves. From the comic books, I followed the Thunderbolt series. It was a short series that had Red Hulk, Deadpool, Agent Venom, Elektra, and somebody else. I forget who. Anyway, this was pretty great. Plus, then we get the two She-Hulk over here and Red She-Hulk. And I cannot get enough of female superheroes, especially ones that have such interesting stories. And given that Marvel, through Disney Plus, is planning on doing an entire series dedicated to She-Hulk, I figured I'd snap this up now before that came out, because I figure the prices on this are going to skyrocket afterwards. Not that I plan on reselling this, but I prefer to buy things when they're cheaper rather than more expensive. And, we've got Hulk. I'm not a huge Hulk fan, so that's not really the draw for me. The biggest draw for me are these three other minifigs. And the build is alright. At least I think it will be. I'm going to do it on camera, and we will see what it's like. I'll do a time-lapse of me building this, and if I have any comments, I will stop and record my comments, and then I'll give you my overall review at the end of it. So stay tuned. And while you're here, maybe you could do something else. You could hit that like button over there, or subscribe down here. Just a thought. I think it would be fun to see more of my videos. But it's up to you, my friend. You get to make the choice. Alright, here we go. Time-lapse. Yeah, it took me about 45 minutes to build these. Let's start off with the minifigs, okay? So, Red Hulk here, and then we got good old Green Hulk here. They're both big figs. They're really nice. Although I will say this, the Red Hulk has a seam. You can sort of see it. It goes across here. It's a swoopy pattern on his back. And I don't know what that's all about, because Green Hulk doesn't have it. So maybe they need to do something with the mold. I don't know. He does have different hair than the other Hulk. Otherwise, they are identical. So I guess maybe they just put in like a different head piece. They're both great figs, and they look really fantastic. So yeah, I do like Red Hulk and Green Hulk a lot. Now let's look at the She-Hulks here. I really like She-Hulk. She's just a great looking fig. She's got leg printing, like, and the bottom of her sort of shoes go all the way around, which is nice to see. Whereas Red Hulk, although her hair is really great with the red stripe in it, her legs are really boring. They're just black legs. They both look fantastic. I'm really glad to have both of these. But definitely, She-Hulk looks much better. You may have noticed I didn't put any stickers on. I typically don't put stickers on for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not really a big fan of stickers. Two, I often will mess them up. Three, when I want to disassemble this, which I will at some point, want to take it apart for pieces and just sort it away. Sticker pieces mean that I can't use certain pieces because they now have a sticker on them. So I have to toss those in my sticker drawer, which I do have. I have a printed pieces drawer and then a sticker drawer, and I have tiles that have been decorated as well. So I don't put stickers on. Also, lastly, I resell these a lot of the time. They may only be worth like $1, but every little bit helps, defraying the cost of these sets, right? So I save them. I actually have a big pile of stickers here from all the sets that I haven't used stickers on. So I've got, Trolls and Ninjago. I've got a Technic sticker set. So I don't put them on. I just save them, and eventually I might resell them to someone. So let's get to these two vehicles. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed that they went with vehicles as opposed to like a city scene. If you watched the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, he did end up facing off against Abomination, I believe it was, in New York, and he destroyed a lot of the city. Now that movie came out probably 2011, something like that. Because it was one of the it was part of the first wave of Marvel movies. Came out just after Iron Man or just before Iron Man, I forget which. And this set came out in 2016, I believe, which was, doesn't say on the back here. I thought it said 2015 on one of the instructions. So, that's 5 or 6 years ago, but it's also like 5 years after that Hulk movie came out. Now, I understand that Hulk movie was not very popular, and Edward Norton, a lot of people didn't like him, which is fine. and then they recast him as Bruce Banner. And this is technically part of... This is the comic that went with it, and it is part of the Avengers. So I find that a little confusing because, like I said, this set is nothing like 3/4 of the figs, and definitely both the builds have nothing to do with the Avengers. We're never in the Avengers. So I think it would be best if Marvel had branded this as just like a Marvel set. And so I'm disappointed with these builds. But what I will say is that it's very interesting what the designer, whoever it was, decided to do. Because what they did is they built basically 2 of the exact same vehicle. But they look different, right? And if you look at the box art, you know, these sets, one is a tricycle and the other one is a 4-wheeler. So they look very different. One has like this bulldozer piece here on the front of it. The driver goes off on the side, whereas this one has this little Gatling gun, and the driver goes in the middle, and it's 4 wheels. It's got this little flag. It's got these little dinghies on the side. I don't know. But what's interesting, and what I think is really smart, is that the first 15 steps were identical, almost entirely identical. So that means that for a kid putting this together, once they'd gone through the first one, they knew how to put the second one together almost intuitively, which is a great feeling when you can anticipate things and sort of say, this is what happened in this one. Let me see, oh, that's what's happening in this one. And you can just instantly build them. So, I mean, if you look at the backs here especially, right? Except for the color variation, they are identical. You've got, both of them have this little door proppy at the back here, that when you squish the car, it pops forward, which I think is a neat little mechanism, actually. I think this one works a little bit better. I don't know why, but I think it gives it more of a leap. This one sort of gives it like a little bump, right? The other one definitely gives it more. Oh, maybe I just need to push harder. Oh, there we go. So I think that in terms of that, it was really, really intelligently put together. I think the other thing is that while they look different, right? A 4-wheel versus a 3-wheel, red or green and purple versus red and black. They use basically the same pieces for a lot of it. So, for instance, you can see here we've got this big sort of front dash, but it's used on this side, and the front. So we have 3 of these in dark green. Now, they used a recolor in this one. So we have one here and one here. So even though the pieces are different colors, they use the same piece 5 times. You've got 6 wheels that are identical, except they've been recolored. You've got a lot of pieces like that where, you know, the backs here, they're just different colors, but they're otherwise identical. So I think the set designer here did a really smart job in terms of putting it together in a way that would be easy and fun for the builder, especially children. And they did a great job of reusing parts. Using parts that, you know, in both sets to give it a commonality by using color as a differentiator. I think that was really cool. I once again, I mean, for the mythology or the lore of Marvel, I don't think these sets make a lot of sense. You know, Red Hulk and Hulk can run really fast. So, what do you need a car for? Also, you know, Red Hulk is a former general, so yeah, it makes sense that he would have an army vehicle with a whole bunch of different guns. You know, he's got 6 different guns on here. But Hulk is a civilian who doesn't play with the military. He tries to avoid them at all costs. So where did he get his vehicle? You know, and why does he have a great big Gatling gun on it when really a gun isn't gonna hurt anybody, right? We saw that in all the movies, whether it's the first Hulk with Edward Norton, or the Avengers, or you know, Thor Ragnarok, Avengers 2 with Ultron, Infinity War. Bullets don't stop these guys. And you can say, well, you know, what about the ladies? They're smaller. They're still Hulks. Bullets don't hurt them. So why, when you're going up against each other, would you have bullets? That's just, it doesn't make sense. Now, for the number of pieces you get for it, 375 pieces, I remember it going for $60, $75, $80. That's overpriced, I would say, in terms of the piece count. But considering you get 2 big figs and then 2 other exclusive regular figs, I think it's actually good value for it. So yeah, let me spin this camera up here and we can talk a bit more. So, am I happy with this set? Yes. I am very happy with this set. However, if it weren't for the figs, I would never have bought this set. Never. Ever. I like the vehicles. I'm probably going to disassemble them really quick. They don't have a lot of staying power or value for me. I think if they had done a city scene, I would have kept that set built. It would have been a bigger set, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bigger set. We've seen Spider-Man have small sets with a cityscape. The Iron Man 3 Malibu Mansion had part of Iron Man's compound and a wall of Iron Man suits. We've seen several sets with Iron Man suits on the wall, whether it's the new one, the 4 Plus with the Roadster and 3 suits, or whether it was the Malibu Mansion, as I mentioned, or whether it was Tony Stark's Iron Legion, that one, which came out last year, I think, as part of the Endgame sets. I don't know why LEGO is so hesitant to do buildings with superhero sets. The Infinity Wars set for Endgame, with the whole compound, the Avengers mansion in upstate New York. That's a great set. But honestly, the building is really lacking. It's a good frame, I guess. The Stark Tower, great set, interesting build. The Stark Tower looks really iconic and really great. They made it more expensive. You know, I think that was at least $100. Would this one have been worth it at over $100? Yes. Yes, it would have. I would have bought this at $100. I paid over $100 for it now. But knew at the store if this had had buildings attached to it and them breaking them up, a fire hydrant knocked over with a little burble of water, a car partially smashed. That would have been amazing. And I think it would have made such an interesting build. And I would have paid up for it. I would have expected maybe 1 or 2 city people, just generic, people running around, that sort of thing. Maybe, Lego wouldn't do necessarily a military person, but they could have easily done a shield agent. Like they did with the Spider-Man versus... It was a Spider-Man set versus Venom or Carnage, and it had just like a generic shield guy running around. I think that Lego's missed a bunch of opportunities to take these sets to the next level, and that's unfortunate. But I think that's an opportunity too in the future, is that they can take them to the next level. We've seen with the Daily Bugle that just came out that they can take it up to the next level. I think they took it up way higher. And they did that. They include 25 minifigs. They include an entire building. Like, this is above a modular building. They really built it up. And I think they could have done something simpler. We saw with the first Daily Bugle, it was a small little building, but it still had the essence of a cityscape, a skyscraper. And it had 4 or 5 minifigs. It wasn't a great big huge set. It was just a regular size set with a building in it. And I think that looked great. And certainly the price point on that was probably good as well, at probably $100. So I would say that this set gets great ratings with the minifigs in terms of the build. I'm really impressed with the smart cleverness that happened in terms of building things that are similar and have the same instructions but look different. But the builds are otherwise kind of unremarkable. They do have this cool little action function where they smash into each other and Hulk goes flying. But let's see how well that actually works in practice. He just sort of falls off. He doesn't go flying. So that's my review for today. If you like this, if you'd like to see more, please let me know. Feel free to subscribe and definitely like that video. It helps out my channel a lot. And that's it for today, team. Have a great day. Try to smile. Maybe be nice to people. Wait for the little man before you cross the street. That little sign as opposed to the flashing hand. And, yeah, build with Lego. Have a good day. Talk to you later.